Hey guys, I hope all is well. I hope you're having a good day or a good night, wherever you guys are. Man, last video was wild, all those Groms. I felt like a fool. I accidentally deleted my outro video, so that's why it kind of just faded out the way it did, but man, that was a lot of fun. I'm probably going to be meeting up with them probably again next month when they do their group ride. I'm either thinking about getting a Grom or a Z125, so that should be pretty interesting. And I'll be able to learn how to wheelie on that bad boy. But man, alright, so the topic of today, my crash. Alright, so this happened to me in February 15th actually. I was on my way home from work, just going home. I was on the highway. I'll show you exactly where I was when it all happened, but I'll try to give you like a detailed thing of like when we're in the lanes too. But yeah, but this lady just turned right into me and I went over my bars and I'm just skirting down the highway. I will say it was a bit of a wake-up call for me because I was getting a little wild out on the highways, you know, zipping in between cars and stuff like that. I'm so happy that I wasn't doing anything like that, like literally just obeying the law, going the speed limit. So things are kind of in my favor there, but yeah, like I said, it just made me really thinking, like, say if I was like going 130 zipping between cars and this happened, like, that would have been a way different outcome. So I've been, you know, I will say I do like to push it every now and then, but I've been a lot better, and that is wild. So yeah, we can talk about my injuries real quick just while I got a second. So I got real lucky. Like, I didn't break anything. I dislocated my pinky, and that seems to be like the worst of it. Hope you guys can see it. The pinky's still a little messed up. She can't go all the way straight yet, and I can't bend it fully yet either, so that's the pinky. Hopefully in a couple months it'll get better. Just dislocated it at the knuckle and it's still just wonky. And then I tore my quad tendon above the knee, so I had to get a surgery on that. Surgery on the pinky, obviously. The knee took a little while. I was in a brace or whatever for about a month, give or take, and then I had my PT. But the craziest thing I will say with my knee is, I guess when you tear your quad tendon, like your quad muscle, like it just doesn't work anymore. So like I literally couldn't like lift my leg up straight like that. So I had to go through and like relearn how to like lift my leg, and man, it was such like a mental like mind fuck. Like just trying so hard to lift your leg and it's not going anywhere. So that was a little interesting. I didn't do any PT or anything for the pinky. They said that should just kind of be fine on its own. But I'll tell you what though, it is good to be riding again. I missed it the whole time. Alright, so let's get to the spot of the accident, shall we? Isn't too bad. I haven't really recorded a whole lot on the highway, so I'm just gonna try to keep the speak up a little bit and just see how it works. Well, yeah, I just got done with my PT last week, so it was about 2 weeks of PT on my knee. The strength isn't all the way back yet. It's still pretty weak, but I have all the motion. It doesn't hurt, except for when I'm riding. Like, so let's say if I sit on the highway for like 20 minutes or so, just sitting in that position, like it just starts to hurt so bad. So like I'll try to straighten it out and stuff like that as I'm going, but it doesn't do any justice. So I'll have to like stop and take a little break, walk around, and then it gets to be fine. So far I'd say that's like my biggest complaint with the whole thing, is like I just can't really enjoy riding for long periods of time. But I mean, hey, I can still ride, right? So what am I bitching about? Like literally though, all things considered, I got real lucky. It could have been way worse than how it ended up. But yeah, we were literally probably going this speed, just doing our thing, and bam! Yeah, like I said, once we get up a little bit closer, I'll show you my best on like how it happened. Get around these cars real quick. almost a little brisk on my way into work. That was nice. This will be my first Arizona summer riding out in the heat, so I don't know if you guys have any tips or suggestions to help me not die. That would be amazing. Alright, well, we're coming up to the spot. So the worst thing about that too, so I remember I was in the lane right here where this car is, but I passed an ambulance on my way right before this happened, and I was like, oh, how convenient, if I crash, this ambulance is right here to pick me up. So boom, thing happens, I'm crumpled on the concrete, ambulance passes by, they were talking to him, I guess they already had somebody in the car, or the ambulance with them, so I'm like, oh great, just my luck. Alright, so here we are. I'm behind a car pretty much at this distance. They have their right blinker on in front of me. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give myself some space. I come over to this left lane. They're halfway over into making it to the right lane, and then they just start cutting hard across into me. And so I'm a little bit closer at this point because I was going past him. And so now they're cutting into this lane. I try to look behind me really quick, and by the time I was looking forward, I already hit the back of their car. So I was on the ground right here because the poor bike was over there. So I hit the back left of their car, I go flying over my handlebars, so now I'm just rolling, and like that took, it felt like literally like forever. I remember just rolling, I'm like, alright, this is taking a long time, so I tried to like stop and slide on my back, so now I'm sliding on my back for a little while, I'm like, this feels way worse, this doesn't feel right, so I started to roll again, and so we're just rolling again, and after we're all said and done, I'm on the ground, just like, on the ground, just just all crumpled. Luckily though, there was an off-duty firefighter, so she came up, she took control of the whole situation, and grabbed me by the head, make sure I was all stable and everything like that. And so I started to, it was probably the adrenaline helped with the pain a bit, so I started to get over all that. So I'm laying there, they're like, hey, what's wrong? I'm like, well, my knee's definitely messed up. I'll have some pictures so you guys can kind of see what happens. I have no video, but I'm like, my knee's messed up, I feel like my wrist is broken and my pinky hurts. And so like, okay, and they're checking everything, so everything was all good. Police, everyone get there. Ambulance is all, sorry, fire truck, ambulance. So now I'm just talking to them, basic questions. And then yeah, so they just load me up. I was asking too while I was on the ground. I wanted to see the bike so bad, like, hey, can I go see it? They're like, no, you gotta stay here. But I had my phone on my, not on a quad lock, it was like a RAM mount, but it actually stayed on the bike through the whole crash. Everything was fine, phone was good. So I had the guy take a picture of my bike for me just so I could see it. And I'll put that one up there as well so you guys can see, but man, the poor bike. Like, I don't know if any of you guys had a crash or anything like that. Like, it wasn't my fault. Like, I feel like I maybe could have done better in it, but like, I felt like such a failure afterwards. Like, I don't know, I'm like, it just hurt, and it didn't feel good mentally. I mean, physical pain wasn't terrible. It's funny, the pinky actually was what hurt the worst out of the whole thing. But yeah, super lucky. So I ended up staying in the hospital for, it was 3 or 4 days, I can't remember. I was trying to get out the whole time. They just wanted to make sure the knee was fine because they had like a drain tube in it, and they wanted to make sure all the extra liquids were out of it. But yeah, so for my recovery time, I had like I felt like I healed a lot faster. They said it'd be about a 3 or 4 month healing time. Granted, I'm not 100% better yet, but yeah, so I had I can't think of the words right now, but I had a brace on where I couldn't move my leg at all. I had to wear that for about a month, and then I had the brace where I could bend it, and my motion was at 90 degrees right away, which is pretty good. A lot of people had to work up to 90. And then so I started my PT about a month after. I didn't need to wear the brace at all through any of the PT, which is pretty nice. They all said I was way ahead of schedule doing my things. So I've been on the bike now for a little over a month now. So since the time of the accident, it took me 2 months to get back onto the bike. It might have been a little bit soon, but like, it didn't hurt. The only times that it did hurt, say, is if I was like standing up to go over a bump, it would slightly hurt the knee. But getting on the bike was fine, riding the bike is fine, except for obviously sitting in the position for so long, it gets a little rough. But I mean, all in all, I can't complain. Like, I can walk, I'm alive, I'm able to ride, like, life is good, you know what I mean? Can't complain. I easily could have been dead and just splattered all over the concrete. That's also why I wear gear. A, because I'm like a newer rider. You know, I mean, I'm not the most experienced, you could say. And B, just in case like any freak accident like that happens, like literally I would have been dead. I'll show pictures of my helmet and stuff like that too. It could have been very, very bad. Get around this guy real quick. But yeah, I don't know, have any of you guys gotten into a wreck? Was it your guys' fault? Was it their fault? How did you feel afterwards? Because I'm curious if I'm the only one. Like I don't know, I just felt so down. Like, not on myself, but just, it's like, do I really, like, do I deserve to be riding? Like, I don't know, it's almost like I wasn't adequate enough. I wonder how long I had my blinker on for. But yeah, it just was not a good feeling. It hurt. Obviously, like I said that 8 times. I felt so bad for the bike. Poor thing didn't deserve it. But yeah, you guys have no idea how thankful I am to be able to be on a bike. And I'm on my dream bike right now. My new dream bike. My dream bike has always been an R6. They don't make them new anymore, like I said in my last video. So I got this. And oh, she is so nice. I'm so happy with her. Obviously a couple of things or whatever. Not everything is gonna be perfect, but for what she is, she's great. Kind of like what I was saying too in the beginning, that crash definitely changed how I ride, because I mean, I'm probably going to kind of get back to my old ways a little bit, because I used to lane split pretty aggressively and just fly in between carts and stuff like that. And like I said, all it just takes is that one little thing, like a person just changing lanes and boom. Like, oh. So like I said, it definitely made me reevaluate a lot of the things that I was doing and how I was doing it, just because it was not fun. And it's crazy how much I miss riding. Like, even like the day of in the hospital, they're like, hey, you gonna ride again? I'm like, yes, of course I'm gonna ride. And like I said, that's another thing I could talk about too, is like, why do I want to ride after I literally almost died? And that's a good question, isn't it? Obviously, I love the adrenaline. The adrenaline is so fun, but that also comes in with driving like an ass. So I mean, it's like, I'm not getting as much adrenaline because I'm not trying to die. So I mean, it's still there, but it's also, you just feel so free, like moving around, like the speed of it, like you're fully engaged. Like, I'm a big gamer, so I love first person shooting, and I love just being like in the moment, in the zone kind of thing. And that's kind of what riding a bike kind of does for me too, is like, there's no dull moments. You always have to be engaged. And who doesn't like that sound? And we got the exhaust in. But yeah, so it's just, I really enjoy it. Like, I haven't driven my car yet. I got 4,100 miles on this thing in a month, so I really do enjoy it. I don't know what it is about it, because if I don't have my adrenaline rushes, then like, what is it? But I'm sure you guys that all ride, you all relate, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you've been through a crash or whatever, you know more than well what I'm talking about. Yeah, all my family, they're all worried. Like, I don't blame them, but they're telling me not to get a bike or get a slow bike. You don't need a super sport. And it's not ever the bike's fault. Like, I could be on that cruiser with that guy and still had the same accident as before. I do get what they're saying though, is like, with the speed of this bad boy, like, I can really open her up. But once I get some stabilizer bars, I'll be able to do that a little bit more. I'm afraid to go super fast. 150 is the fastest I've gotten her so far, and it wasn't for a very long time. But yeah, I just don't want to crash. And obviously I'll push the limits a little bit, but it's just so fun. Oh wait, we gotta be taking a lift. But yeah, I wouldn't trade riding for anything in the world. People all say that I'm crazy and stuff like that. It's like, no, I mean, I could have gotten a car accident, so I'm just not going to drive a car again. But But no, like at the same time though, I totally understand with what everyone's all saying and how they go about it. Oh, we got a green arrow. No one's paying attention, but I'll take it. Alright, but I think this is what we're going to end the video. Hopefully it's long enough, and like I said, if any of you guys got into a crash, like tell me about it, tell me how you felt afterwards, how long did it take for you to get riding, or did you stop riding? Yeah, so let me know, I'm curious to see how it is. Thank you guys for checking out the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and don't forget to hit that little bell so you know when I'm posting my videos. Have a good one, guys.